Well, it all comes down to one last race here. We've already seen 3 races here at this very track here for Fest Weekend here in Fuji Speedway. And now it's time for the last one to conclude the ARO side of things of Fest Weekend. Welcome everyone to the first round of Holotype World, or the Holoproto World Japan International. The Riding on Dream 600 at Fuji Speedway Split D is coming up for one more race here on the foothills of Mount Fuji here in Shizuoka. So let's take a look into the track map right now, where of course we've seen so much racing action in Fuji, and I think you will expect a lot of racing action throughout the entire circuit. Yes, I have to also admit that this is my personal favorite. 150 kilometers of racing are to be expected once more here at this racetrack. We've already seen that with the first 3 splits. There's no reason to not believe that's going to be the case for Split D. And unfortunately, with as time goes, we're not going to be expecting the lap record to be shattered. It will still be at around a 130 at max. However, we'd like to be surprised, so we'll see if any of these drivers are going to put up some difference here. Alright, so with one more race to go, with their qualifying races also done for Split D, let's take a look into how the grid lines up for our final race of the weekend. Seirin has taken the pole position and of course have won herself the pole position after winning the qualification race in Split D for Otonose Kanade. And alongside her will be Shango for Ichija Ririka. And obviously with the Ligiers having already won in Split C, the Regal drivers are already feeling pretty much bullish about their chances. And then we still have Masa Raido also ready to make things happen in Todoroki Hajime amongst the Ligier camp. And the first of the Orcas will be Angela Sims, who starts 4th for Anya Melvisa. Rafael de Oliveira will be the first of the EN class cars representing Nerissa Ravencroft. Alongside him will be Hinochi Tayo for Kyle Kowalska at row 3. Johnny Pranata for Hoshinaga Mamuna starts on row 4 alongside Daniel Barker, the highest placed JP class car. In 8th place, also an FYI, Hoshimachi Suisei is rumored to be in Fortnite soon. Tyler Williams for Oro Crony alongside Mohamed Shahid Reza for Kaseki Biju in 9th and 10th. Josh Azuri in 11th for Mori Calliope, and Jake Martinez 12th for Tokoyami Toa. In 13th, it's Joey for Jufute Radin and Vlasa Damashnev for Aki Rosenthal. Callum Gibbons starts 15th for Roboco, and Lorenzo Ricci last in Split D's qualification race after an engine failure that time. That's why he starts at the back. With that out of the way, let's welcome the commentary booth, and this time I won't be alone this time, as Mohamed Riza, will now be joined by Matthias Zacharias in the booth. Hello, Matt.
Hello. I'm here.
So we are now coming into the start of the final race of the weekend. Obviously, what's your take on the preview for the Split D race?
I think it's gonna be interesting, a bit more interesting compared to the last phases with the feat of the Indonesian cars. So there's a lot more to be excited for.
A lot more to be excited about, true. And also, just wanted to highlight the part here. The Ligiers have have shown that they got hands actually. Of course, as we have already seen already, the Ligiers having a superb acceleration and cornering, which allows them to pull away from the pack at the start. Obviously, they don't have a lot of mechanical grip, but of course, their straight leg abilities are gonna be the ones that will compensate for them. So, with that out of the way, we are just gonna make our final preparations here. By the way, Math, do you think that any of these Orcas could stand a chance against the Ligiers in this round?
It's really debatable. I think they might be close, if not a bit stalled on either side. So it depends a lot on the condition as the conditions change as the race goes on.
All right. So with that out of the way, we are gonna make one last check. If everything is gonna be all good here. Right now we got 16 cars lined up for one more race here in Fuji Speedway. We're just gonna get the timing done right, and this time we're gonna get into the right screen. So it's gonna be one more race here in Fuji Speedway. It's the split D of the Riding on Dreams 600 at Fuji Speedway, and we are now off. Seirin and Shango on the front row, and to no surprise, the Ligiers take off very, very handsomely. And now Shango is gonna go down the inside to see if he can make the move against Seirin. And this time, Shango has the inside line to try to challenge the Otonase Karade driver up in front, and there is contact! That's Wamashan and Reza already being spun early on in the race. We'll check at the replay what happens, and I think that's actually the first incident of the entire weekend. And Shadid Reza is out of the race before he even exits turn 1. What calamity! We'll check out the replays later as Shango now leads Seirin, Masaraido in third, and then we got Angela Simpson fourth, Daniel Barger fifth, going side by side with Hinoshi Tayo. De Oliveira leads in seventh place over Johnny Pranata in eighth. Zendar, oh my god, we're gonna have to replay. We're gonna have to restart this one. God damn it, we forgot to change the AI name to Tyler Williams. All right, so we're going to forfeit this start attempt. Oh my goodness, give me a second. We're going to forfeit this start because we once again forgot to change the name of the driver. So you can ignore the first start attempt. So we can also consider this as we can also consider this as a reprieve. So we're gonna go take 2 at the start. Apologies for another scuff race start opportunity. So let me just gonna wait here. If you have any thoughts in the comments, you can please feel free to do so. We would like to hear your opinions on the fly once again. All right, so this time the name is proper once again. We're gonna go have a second try at the start. This time Tyler Williams is actually on the grid and not Mono Zetaro. So it's gonna be Seirin on the front row alongside Shango at the start of the split D Riding on Dream 600 at Fuji. And once again, we have the Ligiers taking off without any hassle, already pulling away very handsomely as they now come into turn 1. Sims has to cover her tracks. Will there be contact further back? The answer is going to be no this time. Everyone this time manages to survive without any issue as Seirin now takes the lead over Shango and Masaraido in third place. Fourth place, Angela Sims is ready to make way and to make chase over the rest of the pack. De Oliveira makes his way against Hinoshi Tayo. Sims tries to get close against Masaraido. Shadid Reza this time vindicates his poor start attempt at the first try with him now currently in 8th place. So it's Seirin and Masaraido making up the top 3. Sims in 4th, De Oliveira in 5th, Tayo in 6th, Barger in 7th, Shadid Reza in 8th, Johnny Pranata 9th, and Jake Martinez rounds out the top 10 there, Math.
I'm a bit unfortunate with the mistaken start, but so far it's looking really good. The leaders are really pulling away, so it will be probably I'd say it's going to be a leader-dominated field.
Well, at least from what we saw in Split C, I think it's going to be a similar song and dance there, and I have to agree with you. The Ligiers are just very good with the acceleration And in terms of mechanical grip, they basically function very similarly to the Orcas. So they are basically running with every opportunity with this win, as we now see Joey now going side by side with Vladislav Domashnev in the background. As there are no guest drivers in the field, everyone here will be racing for points. Joey now goes down the inside, again showcasing what the Ligiers can do on in terms of straight line capability, and also the Oliveira going side by side with Hinochi Taiyo. Almost contact there, as Hinochi almost went into the front of Yu Rafael, but he should be okay with that. Anyways, looking into the rest of the field, Shadareza is also trying to find his way past Daniel Barger for 7th place. Shadareza having a good exit off of the hairpin. Unfortunately, has been blocked there. And watch out though for Johnny Pranata as he now goes down the inside of the Dunlop chicane, and he's almost made the pass work, but he now has to settle for 9th place. Tayo now trying to get close there to Hinochi Angela Sims there. It's basically 2 ID class cars in 4th and 5th. All ID class cars are currently inside the top 10. Seirin now has the fastest lap of the race. Songo not far behind. He's actually keeping Seirin honest here. Seirin is actually looking for her first win for Otomase Kanade in Hola Proto. And right now, she's doing a very good job there in maintaining the lead.
Yeah, she's already pulled off a great lead. I think that maybe due to the high performance of the leaders, I think the Ruricas will try to be more daring with the moves they get the opportunity to do. So there may be another contact or even a few lockups somewhere in the track.
And there's also the case of strategy here, as we're going to be taking a look here onto the race field monitor. It looks to me that the Ligiers are going to be pitting pretty variedly. Joey Masaraido and Seirin will be pitting at the same time, and it will be at the later stages. They will be amongst the last to make the pit stops. Songo will pit very early in an attempt to go for an undercut strategy. Now, looking into the track temps, it is actually the ambient temperatures will be at 10 degrees and the track temperatures at 11. So again, the tires are going to warm up pretty slowly, but the overcut strength will actually be weakened here. So what do you think about the strategy plans based on what you saw from these 3 races so far?
It's going to be there's going to be a big difference or even a fight, because I'd say that because the leaders are faster, they could maybe wear down even faster, so they might have to beat soon compared to the Uricas.
Well, based on what we're seeing here, the tires are pretty much almost identical, but I can probably think that it might be the opposite, because they don't have a lot of aerodynamic grip. And in terms of aerodynamic grip, they are pretty much beaten by the Orcas. But given their recent BOP changes, they are currently favorites when it comes to straight line speed and acceleration. In terms of mechanical grip, they are pretty much equal. So each of these performances do balance out. But again, give kudos to the Ligier team for finally cracking the code. Just want to give a bit of a context from the previous season. The Ligiers have actually gone winless in last season's Holo Proto season, right, when it was still called Holo Type. If you take a look into the basically the studio lineup, there are literally no Ligiers. All of the Ligiers have ended up at the Zako field, and all but one have failed to score points. So, and even then, that one time Ligier did score points in the Zako phase was during a very attritional race in Bathurst. You know what's to come at Bathurst. But anyways, I just wanted to also take a look here into the progress chart for these drivers. So there is a gain 2 positions at the start. making use of that second chance by, just not being involved in a crash. And then there's also multiple other drivers who have gained 2 positions at the start. But the only places where there's no differences at all would be the top 4. And right now, Masaraido, he is getting close there, Mav, to Shango. And I'm not sure if he is going to make the pass soon, but let's see how he performs this lap.
Yeah, it might. It's a matter of time before he gets really close to striking distance.
And looking into the gaps right now, the gap is still pretty big for Ligier standards, 0.8 of a second. So it looks to me that he's not gonna be able to make a move anytime soon. But I'm just gonna take a look here at the rest of the field. Callum Gibbons gets very close there to Joshua Zurid, the 2025 World CO Champion. Shango now having the fastest lap of the field, 130.7, as Joey now goes down the inside of Gibbons. Right now, Ridin is gonna try to see if Joey can try to make a move there down the inside, and into turn 1 he goes. The double whammy passes have been a thing for the Ligiers, but you can see here Gibbons is doing everything he can to get a good exit off of turn 1 to stay relevant, but the straight line speed of that Ligier leaves much on the Orca leaves much to be desired. And in the corners, you can see here the cornering speed differences between the Ligiers and the Orcas, and it's very much apparent there, Math.
Yeah, it's going to be Uya's solid overtake there. It is going to be really interesting with the battling with a slightly slower Uika. So there might be a lot of daring passes to happen.
Especially at 100R true. I mean, we have seen very much tight side-by-side action at that corner a week ago in the qualifying races. Again, we talked about Puerto Rico Mendez and Cameron Riba going side-by-side for 2/3 of a lap. And still giving each other plenty of space. Meanwhile, the first pit stops are already taking place. Shango will be a first driver going into the pits. Angela Sims will actually join him. It's now a case of, between the two, who gets to make the faster pit stop. Meanwhile, looking into the rest of the field, we are seeing drivers now move up into the pack slowly as the drivers now make their pit stops. Everyone just going single file, just calm down at the moment. And we'll see if De Oliveira can make the pass down to Hinoshitayu. That's a great exit though from the hairpin. Then Barger though meanwhile is closing in there, Mav. We'll see how this this pass goes, but you can see here. Oh, and there's a surprise move there from De Oliveira there, Mav. Let's see how De Oliveira can make the pass there onto Tayo.
That was a move. I think there was a bit of contact from the sudden movement, but they're really pushing for it right now. So let's see. Oh, they're side by side.
And into turn 16 there, Matt, we can continue the conversation while I am basically silent. So when I stop speaking, you can continue the conversation. But anyways, speaking of conversations here comes the drivers making their way to the pit stop there. A bit of a squeeze there between Pranata and Barger. There was a bit of a miscommunication between the two as we see more battles there. Now this time between Tyler Williams and Jake Martinez into the start-finish line. Into turn 1 they go. Tyler Williams now tries to make the pass onto the Kenzoku, who has won at the Zago Series race at Bathurst on the season finale of last year. They're absolutely trading blows between each other, and it's going to be Tyler Williams now ahead in 7th place.
Seems that the fight is looking more towards the Oricas themselves. The leaguers seem to be on the league of their own. but we're seeing some passes as well as some pit stops. It's a lot of activity right now.
Well, lots of activity for sure. So, and also speaking of activity, the Ishirorika driver Shango has actually had a faster pit stop there than Angela Sims, and Sims at the very least has beaten Gibbons and Ricci. But what I do notice there here is that the overcut strategy continues to be the name of the game. So we're expecting Seirin and Masaraido to be complete favorites to maintain their spot in first and second. But for Angela Sims and Shango, they will be losing out. And Angela Sims actually has lost out to Pranata, who pitted 1 or 2 laps later than Sims. So great. So it looks like everyone will see how long they could stay out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long they can stay out. I'd say the more you move the car into a corner, trying to overtake someone, and there's a few more seconds where being put into your tires. So we see a dive bomb from Barger into.
Actually, it's Momashi Reza making the dive into turn 1. But what a move there from the Koseki Bijou Pebble. As he now goes around the outside to try to maintain that position. Daniel Barger has the unfavorable line into 100R, but the dive bomb from Mosha's Red was actually very much calculated. But Daniel Barger isn't giving up there on side-by-side action. As we saw, remember when I said about the drivers going side-by-side 2/3 of the way? We saw that again, this time between Shadow Reza and Barger. Crazy racing action here in Fuji so far.
It's been really packed. First opening laps space with a lot of overtakes, primarily from the Orikas themselves instead of an Orika versus leader fight. So it's going to be really interesting, as well as the strategies and pit stops.
And speaking of strategies here, we'll see which drivers will be making their pit stops. We're looking at a minimum of 6 drivers making their stop for fuel and tires, which does not include Masaraido. Actually, it does include Masaraido. So we're seeing Chitayo continue on. Seirin already in. Masaraido already in. Rafael Oliveira already in. Shadreza already. Shadreza also in as well as Joey and Joshua Azurin. For the other drivers, they're just gonna stay out for as long as they can. Seirin's battle is currently with Shango, who's currently at turn 16. Let's see how the overcut strategy will play out.
Yep, it seems that the Orikas will seem to be pitting more often than others, so it's really a weird situation.
And right now we're just taking a look into Shango, who has basically lost out on this pit stop battle here between his own fellow Ligier teammates. So Moshada Riza, meanwhile, will be staying out in 4th place as Johnny Pranata now comes out. This is a battle for P5. Johnny Pranata should have the warmer tires. Shadariza will have the colder ones, but will have line advantage, but there's just not enough grip on those cold tires. So Shadariza will have to take a step back and to just drop down into P6. But then again, the overcut strategy has basically given him 2 free positions.
Yeah, that was an almost move there from the war, but there's the defining factor of the warm versus cold tires. It's gonna have to wait a bit, that move from them, the 2 of them.
Speaking of which, speaking of moves there, we now have more drivers coming in for their pit stops. Shinoshitayu in the number 58. Kyle Kowalski machine now comes in for a pit stop. Same goes for Jake Martinez in the Tokuyami Towa number 10. They're expected to come out in the mid-pack as the race continues to take shape. We're about to come into finishing 33% of the race distance so far. And right now we're just gonna see how the race is going to pan out. And we're going to see here, Tayo is still going to remain stationary. Seirin still pretty much in control, actually building up a very good gap though to Masaraido. And also just wanted to point out there, remember, Assetto Corsa has no proper blue flag rules for these AI drivers. So we expect the back markers to also provide a massive amount of block to the leaders if needs be. So And we actually do see lap cars from this C race, and it actually affected the leaders a bit. But if the gap gets close enough, how much chaos do you think there might be from the lap car battles?
It's unfortunately an unfortunate technical situation, but it might make for an interesting fight to get ahead of the lap cars. So it's gonna be something to deal with. As we see. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So right now we still have Hiroshi Taiyo, who basically just moves out onto De Oliveira, and then they were side by side, exiting the hairpin and into the next corners. And the third sector, and it's going to be a double whammy there for Hinochi as Jun Panata now comes in to sweep that position away. Barger, Williams, and Damastev, your last drivers to make a pit stop. Barger expecting to come out of this midfield pack as we now see a pack of cars forming in front of, we'll make this, what you will, Yuri Rafael de Oliveira. As we now see Barger now coming out, and that's a massive amount of positions gained. What is going on here? And right now we are seeing basically a pack of cars basically racing between each other. We now see more action here. Damastev trying to get himself back into the race, into the racing line. He goes, he just exits ahead of Hinochi Taiyo, and Shadareza just made the pass on Joey. So look at this amount of cars there between 6th place and 14th, 15th.
Well, we saw Syrian get back into the lead with the pit stops, so it's a bit back into how it used to be at the start. But a few drivers have made more positions.
Oh,
or
and
have lost more
we have our
positions.
first engine failure. Jake Martinez out of the race with an engine failure. So he will be our first official retirement of this race. Very unfortunate for him. Apologies for the interruption there. But meanwhile, we do get to see at least more battles here. And to answer the comments from the chat, it's not really an all-star race. It's mostly just Hololive members, basically just drivers representing Hololive members, representing them as they were about to perform the concert. Drivers basically represent their colors in points being raced that coincides with the Hololive Fest concerts in ARO-RMS. But anyways, we talk about side-by-side racing action there. We'll see what Joey has for Sunny President.
We see Joey approaching the Bibu card, so it's going to be a fight to the end.
And right now, car number 67 tries to instigate a fight against the Bibu, who wants to instigate the number 6-7. So it's a 6-7 battle all round. I cannot believe we're saying this, but we have to probably say it for the purposes of the stream. And here comes the 100R, where the Nishias continue to struggle at that corner. Now, look at how much Joey is struggling at that corner, and look at where Gibbons trying to make the move down the inside the hairpin.
We're seeing some side-by-side action. They are still side-by-side. Then ahead is Joey approaching the upcoming turns.
And speaking of which, De Oliveira now getting closer to Tyler Williams for a fight for P5, doing a very solid job there. And that is I think that's a lockup there from Tyler Williams there, and that will give De Oliveira and Pranata free positions. You saw how Williams just locked up there into net. Can you explain some more detail on what happened there?
Yeah, that seemed like a huge lockup. Maybe both wheels locked up mid-turn, so he just went straight ahead. A lot of brake pressure being put on. Maybe he should put on less brake pressure or trail brake to seems like a front wheel lockup.
Yeah, it has to be a front lockup there. I mean, you talked about nets there. At the corner, pretty much notorious for the corner requiring you to brake and turn at the same time. If you cannot do a lot of both at the same time, you either have to brake in a straight line and you compromise your cornering speed, but you become more stable cable, or you try to fiddle your braking while you're turning and risk locking up. Williams fiddled around and he found out, so yeah, unfortunate for him that he now drops down to 7th. And speaking of which, we have the defending champion though, currently down in 15th place, as one of the favorites to try to get himself back into the studio. I don't think this is a good look now.
It's not optimal performance. He needs to pick it up. Maybe something wrong with the strategy, the car, the grip. It could be anything.
Well, he needs to absolutely needs to miracle right now. And right now, we're just gonna see how he gets on. Speaking of the battle for the lead, it's not gonna look like there's gonna be some developments here, except maybe, just maybe, there might be a slipstream battle here. Azurit against Richie, Gibbons against Joey, etc., etc. And Shadran now tries to get close there to the monster, but will he be thinking of a dive bomb down the inside? The answer might just be a no. So he's just gonna have to play it safe for now. As we see Rhino just staying in 2nd place. Barger looking very comfortably in 4th place, from Shimaji Suisse. De Oliveira as well, staying comfortable inside that 5th place spot.
Yeah, it seems that the top 5 or 6 from the Eureka's combined with the leaders, the Eureka seem to be keeping a good pace within each other. Very consistent, very similar gaps lap per lap, but they may need to catch up soon.
Right. As we see here, Damashnev still under pressure from Mamashad Reza, who is hungry for that top 10 spot and to get something out of this weekend. Has been struggling with this car all weekend. He is remain optimistic routes, as we are also going to see Johnny Panata just continuing to make his own charge. Shongo losing touch to the top 2 right now. Daniel Barger is absolutely going to try to keep Shongo honest. Do you think Barger should be able to catch Shongo right at the end?
Maybe, but I think there might need to be a huge change on the pace or the style of driving for a few laps to catch up. As we see Bretza going for the overtake near the end of the straight.
Almost making contact there with Damashnev. Shadar Reza now having a very good exit there off of the turn 1 and into Coca-Cola quarter, sweeping around the outside of Damashnev. Takes the curb pretty comfortably as he now tries to get himself into the top 10. Forces Damashnev off into the long way out. Closes the door. Shadar Reza has a 10th place, and it's a routine overtake move at 100R there.
Yep, that was a nice subtle switch from the outside to the inside lane from the Coca-Cola corners to the 100R, so that was really nice.
Well calculated. Yep. So anyways, looking into 15 laps complete. No risk of rain right now in Fuji Speedway, which is very, very nice. And speaking of the Split D race, remember, this is the stream that eventually is a tie-in to the unofficial tie-in to the Stage 4 concert, which will be hosted tomorrow afternoon at ARO-Mise, part of the Hololive 7 Fest. So if you want to know more information, there's the QR code at the bottom right of your screen. You can scan the QR code for more information or about the concert, or if you want to get the streaming ticket, it will keep popping up at the bottom right of your screen, so there's no rush for anyone to scan it, but I just wanted to let you all know about that. But anyways, back onto the racing scene. We're about to come into the halfway stage, and right now it looks to me that based on the progress chart, Daniel Barger has absolutely aced that strategy. Started 8th, is now in 4th. What do you think he's done? What do you think was the strategy call that got him up this many positions?
I think maybe the Barger's good strategy was to pit before anyone else, so he pitted, then after he got out, everyone else pitted, so he got a good bunch of positions back to the front.
And also just wanted to highlight the idea of the overcut strategy. Basically pit later than everyone else, because when you make a pit stop, the tires basically warm up very much slowly and you don't get into your optimal lap times, therefore your rhythm gets disrupted. But yeah, anyways, looking back here, Joshua Zirin still languishing at the back of the pack. Zirin already into turn 1. So right now, the possibility for lap cars are pretty much minimal, to say the least, but they are still gonna go at it between each other. So we are now at 17 laps complete, so we're now past the halfway stage. Joey Bernata, meanwhile, is still piling on the pressure onto the jailbird Rafael de Oliveira, and Vlad Tomashev keeping tabs on Tomashev inside the top 10. So we will see how it develops, but also taking a look into Syrian and Masaraido there, the difference in lap times that they had. Oh man. Anyways, De Oliveira though, meanwhile, is getting closer to the bar. Do you think the move might be made soon? Anyways, we are looking into the back of the pack. There's still a four-way fight for just to not be the last place finisher. Joey, meanwhile, has also been pretty surprising for the wrong reasons, where his other Ligier teammates are currently inside the top 3. Joey, obviously being down himself, is pretty much suboptimal. Do you think he has a chance to get himself back into the top 10 at this rate?
Yeah, I think he does. There's a lot of possibilities that can happen. Anything can happen, so it's up for grabs once again.
Right, and if it comes with the pace here, if you compare that to the front runners who have been setting 132.1s, Joey is only able to set at 132.451, so he's basically his race pace is basically on par with the competitors currently at the back. Meanwhile, we are taking a look into the battle for 4th place that is currently forming between De Oliveira, Marger, and Pranata. So they are still pretty much in a side-by-side battle between each other. Not really side-by-side battle, but they are currently keeping tabs of their progress. So we'll see how they currently develop. So anyways, if you want to take a look, if you want to have some context about drivers' past performance, especially from last season's Holo Proto, we are again going to highlight the fact. Oh my goodness. Anyways, about Ligier's lack of performance in last season's Holo Proto season. Now, the story is that these basically Ligiers have a best finish of 6th place in qualifiers, and basically a best finish of 6th throughout the entire season. To see them already kicking off their competitive debut with a win this season. Well, not exactly a competitive debut. Starting off 2026, where starting on their first race of 2026 with a win. That's got to be a massive morale boost there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge boost. Probably, yeah, huge boost.
So, anyways, the battle for P4 is heating up. Daniel Barger still keeping tabs of Sean Goon, who's currently running in 3rd. Masaraido is probably going to be content for 2nd. So this will actually, how do I put this? Anyways, they are playing it safe. They don't feel like they want to put up too much of a fight between each other, knowing that if they could share points between each other, and they could actually bring almost the entirety of this re-gloss gen into the CEO series. And of course, if you can bring all of your teammates into the CEO, that will be a massive morale boost. And sometimes you might need to do everything in the book for that to happen. I mean, you see how Rudy essentially became a walking chicane to essentially block the other drivers from catching Sobyung in last race. Might we see the same thing there for Shango?
Maybe. It depends a lot on how the field is on each lap. So maybe he'll run into something, or maybe just be a clean path every time.
And speaking of which, De Oliveira is absolutely closing in on the bar. The gap's now dropped down to half a second between the Suisse and Nerissa Ravenclaw drivers. Obviously, these two talents have very captivating voices from them, and obviously they have seen recent successes so far. And obviously, Suisse is a household icon in Hololive versus the relatively more recent Nerissa Ravencroft, currently hounding the back of that number 41. De Oliveira, meanwhile, is going to see if he can line up for a move down into the main straight. Into the main straight they go. The gaps are only at 0.3 of a second. Might have opened up just a bit to 4/10, so I think the slipstream will actually play an effect here.
There seems to be a lot of slipstream, but it doesn't seem to be enough just yet for him to catch the car in front. But we'll see what happens. There's a bit of moving, but nothing going on in the turns.
And right now, looking into the movement here, Daniel Barger manages to defend his position. We are coming into the final third of this race, and based on the metrics that we're seeing here, it's still basically Ligier dominant for both Split C and D. Split C is essentially confirmed. Split D, on the other hand, is still pretty much up in the air because Joey is still outside the top 10, and Seirin, Masarada, and Shango maintain their spot on the podium. We haven't really seen another engine failure just yet, but again, as you mentioned, anything can happen. And in terms of like battles, we'll see how De Oliveira gets on against Mario.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really interesting fight. Like I said, once again, anything can happen. So you're just gonna stay put and see how this develops between the drivers.
Tries to get a solid exit there. Pranata might have it better, but I think they're all going to cancel it out as they basically now form a slipstream train that basically cancels out each other's moves. So Barger will still maintain his spot in 4th place, De Oliveira in 5th, Pranata in 6th, Williams in 7th. Damasha, meanwhile, trying to keep on the pressure onto Mohamed Shadow Reza for 10th place, and right now there's nothing to write home. Meanwhile, Zurin's still in 15th. Could he try to make his way into 14th there?
Probably, as we're seeing right now, there was not a move. I thought there was going to be a move, but maybe in the next quarters we'll see something going on between the two of them. But judging by how close they are, maybe he can make it to 14th place in a few laps, or in a few corners.
Well, he is already coming in close there. Gap's now dropped down to 0.4 of a second. Same goes for us on the Russia, but it's not Russia and Reza. For Shango, he is now caught up with Masaraido, so there might be some balance for 2nd place, assuming that Seirin's engine does not fail, because right now, Seirin, for herself, she has had wins eluded from her in basically Hololive GT3 and Hololive Proto, and obviously she has had those shortcomings come to her in a pretty brutal way. But we'll see if Seirin can maintain her spot up in front. But again, I want to highlight another thing here. If Seirin does win here, then it will reinforce the stats that all of the winners here in Fuji this weekend all came from pole position. And what's your verdict on that?
It's really intriguing to see Syrian win, because it's also like a show of how dominant the year has been. So it's gonna be really interesting also at how consistent the years can be on this track at least. So it's gonna be really fun to see.
Well, I agree with you on this one. And speaking of battles here, this battle for second might have to extend to 7 cars, as Kyle Wiggins is closing in as well on this pack of cars. So right now, Sarin is basically 30% away from finishing this race as a winner for once in all of the 2 competitions. Speaking of which, number 2 is 13.3 seconds. Yeah, Masaraido currently representing the controller Ricky Hajime has a 15-second gap between himself and the leader Seirin, who currently represents Otonose Kanade. Thank goodness we're hosting this race on a Saturday, otherwise she's going to bully everyone watching the stream about reminding them about Monday. But anyways, we still have more action there as De Oliveira for Nerissa Ravencroft now goes side by side against Hoshimaki Suisei's Daniel Barger. De Oliveira now goes down the inside. Will Barger have anything to say about it? We'll have to wait and see.
They're still side by side as they go into the Coca-Cola corner. They takes the outside line, gets pushed a bit wide, but they're still sort of side by side, not anymore. But he's trying to take the outside line.
And right now, based on what we're seeing here, lots of experimentation there from their jailbird, but just cannot get the pass done. Speaking of which, Johnny Pranata is currently the highest placed Indonesia class car. Ayo is in basically second amongst the ID class. Then we got Enzo Sims running in third for Anya Melvisa. And speaking of which, there, Johnny De Oliveira is currently the highest EN class car, with Dan Barger being the highest JB class. Seirin leads overall as the highest class car here. Alright, so Barger now comes close to Shango, and based on what we saw on the split C there, the Ligiers will build a gap at the straight to the point where the Orcas cannot catch them in the corners. What do you think? So basically, what's going to be the strategy plan for the Orcas if they were to see if they can make the pass onto the Ligiers?
I'd say they have to somehow catch up, and I think the most optimal move for the Eureka to do the passes is on the turns, because the RDers put a lot of insistence on the straights.
And basically that's the case right now. Barger, between Barger and goal was at 1.1 seconds at the corner, and now into the 100 already into the hairpin. Barger might have thought about making a dive bomb down the inside, but just too far back. But again, you saw the pace difference in the corners versus the straights. It was when Barger exited the first corner, the gap between himself and Shango was at 0.7 of a second. But when they come into Coca-Cola corner, it's opened up to 1.1 seconds. But when they exit the 100R, it's closed down to 0.4 again. So it's all about trying to find the right moves here, and also Shango is trying to see if he can time the pass correctly onto Masaraido for second place.
It's gonna be an interesting fight between third and fourth. So the distance shifts a lot on the corners. So I think it's very much a difference on how both cars take the corner very differently, or the general pace of the lap.
Alright, so we are now at 7 laps to go before we finish split D, and there are 2 distinct packs already forming. This is one for battle for second, and the other the battle for 8th place, or rather the battle for 8th. Sims is also closing in onto Tayo here. Seirin, though, meanwhile, has a 16-second gap onto Masaraido. Joshua Zirin is currently at the main straight. Seirin currently at the chicane. So this is a very interesting sight. Now I don't think Seirin's gonna have to face lap cars, but you know who else is not gonna have to? Who else is gonna have to face traffic? Well, the drivers between 2nd and 7th. And right now we're seeing Sean Goes going slightly offline. Barger might actually think of something here.
It seems that a line is forming between the tires and the marble, so any attempt at going out of the line that has been formed with the tires is going to be a bit jittery with going wide and even a lockup. So Barger's going to have to be really smart about his moves coming up next.
And especially given that you're required to Oliveira is basically waiting at the back. And just see here. And I feel like the idea is that Barger should minimize the time loss in the straights here. And right now he's doing kind of okay right now. The gap's now at 7/10 of a second between himself and Shango right now. As you can see, the first corner, this is what we meant here. And also Shango only still being 7/10 behind Masaraido also does think, but you can see here Barger's as close as he can get though to Shango. But we'll see how he gets the move done. Will he think of a dive bomb down the inside at the hairpin? He's just still too far back, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Ricos are just pushing their cars to the limit, and it seems that they cannot give anything more, so they're trying their best with what they've got.
Alright, so right now it's going to be Seirin currently in the lead here. Masaraido 2nd, Shango 3rd. Barger 4th, De Oliveira in 5th, Pranata 6th, Williams 7th. Tayo in 8th. Oh, you can see it. Barger actually tried it at the chicane there. Almost got the move done. I wonder what went wrong for him.
Yeah, it seems to be an odd one, isn't it? But it seems like he's caught up very well.
Barger actually tried to make the pass at the Dunlop chicane, but I believe he's just too far back. What's your take?
There's a lot of pressure going on with the car already being on the limit, so a mistake can happen.
Yeah, especially Shango is, I mean, you're right. Shango is actually slightly feeling the pressure. All these cars are setting 133s here, and now here comes De Oliveira. He's going to try to get that 4th place back, and that is a great move there from the Narissa Ravencroft number 76. This time, he should have the initiative to see if he can get close there to Shango. The gap's now dropped down to 6/10 of a second. This is not ideal for Shango to maintain his 2nd place spot. Watch out though for De Oliveira. And will he be thinking of a move down the inside? He is getting very close there, but nothing so far. The Shango actually has a way better exit there. This is edge of your seat stuff there. Coming to the final few laps.
It's been packing up for the last few laps. There's going to be lots of fights everywhere, like back field on the top 6 at least.
And you can see here, finds a way past Shango and Masaraido. Masaraido is holding pack up for Seirin to have a very comfortable run to the checkered flag, assuming that the car does not fail. And that is a poor exit though from De Oliveira. Barger's ready to pounce.
And so Barger here going side by side on the main straight with Oliveira, so it's going to be a drag race to the finish of the straight. So we'll see, seems like Barger is going ahead. He is going to send it down the first turn.
Oh, and absolutely sending it down into turn 1 he does. And almost makes the pass, but it looks to me that there's more battles at the back. Here's Tyler Williams though, so he's going to see if he can go alongside Pranata, but he just cannot go alongside. Daniel Barger, meanwhile, is going to see if he can get close there to Rafael De Oliveira. De Oliveira, meanwhile, is closing in onto Shango, and right now he is going to coach Shango into making a mistake. Well, basically vouch Shango into making a mistake here, as we are now into the final 4 laps here of Split D of the Riding on Dreams 600 at Fuji Speedway. We will decide the final winner here in Fuji Speedway in Fest weekend. There are about a few laps or so. and it will most likely going to be Seirin, but again, pending any catastrophic engine failures, I think this might actually be in the back there for Seirin. 22 seconds though, separate between her and the rest of the field.
It's heating up a lot between Oliveira, Go and Barger, so it's probably gonna be a 3-car fight to the finish.
A 3-car fight to the finish for second place, as we will see here. Shango pulling in with an 8/10 of a second gap to De Oliveira. De Oliveira now showcasing his pace right at the end. And right now we are just going to see if there's going to be one more battle here to report for the battle for third place. And right now I'd like to also highlight the fact that throughout this entire weekend, bar one crash that didn't really count towards the actual main race. Everyone has been racing cleanly, and that should be something that we should be celebrating. Meanwhile, the Mustang has now been overtaken by Joey.
And we just saw that move from Joey there. Seems to be that most of the moves are happening near the end of the race, so keep your heads up.
Exactly. It's Bernata now. Meanwhile, to see if he can make a surprise dive bomb down the inside onto Barger, who's now dropped down to 5th place. De Oliveira still keeping his toes pretty much closed there to Shango, who is still soaking up the pressure very well there. The tenacity in that number 66 Ishijirika car is already doing very good, as Seirin now starts the penultimate lap of the race with a 22-second gap still.
It seems that this is all paved all the way for Seirin with the laps to go. There's gonna be a Seirin triumph today.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, we are at 32, we're at lap 32, nearing the conclusion of this race. And right now we are just gonna see here more battles potentially there. Angela Sims getting very close there to Hinochi, and he is doing pretty okay. And Tyler Williams though trying to get closer and closer, but nothing coming out of it. De Oliveira now losing a lot more time though to Shango. Might this just be game over?
We almost saw a move there from Joey, but it's looking like a game over right now, since we're just heading into the final lap. So I guess it's time to back it up.
I guess Seirin now basically has only a few more corners to start the final lap of this race. Seirin ready to showcase everyone that she has race winning potential. Basically, this is going to be her first win in Hola Proto, Rigos's first win in the category, as she now starts the final lap of the race with a nearly unassailable 22-second lead over the rest of the field. And of course, she's going to absolutely thank the teammates for putting in such a basically putting in a team effort here, as Joey now re-overtakes Domashnev. Domashnev, meanwhile, is going to try to repay the favor onto Joey. Into the final corner they go. Joey now has it. He's now managed to defend 11th place, but watch out though for Count Gibbons though. A late dive bomb there from the Roboco driver is going to at least give something before the end.
Gibbons tried to make a move for the end, but it didn't work out in the end. We have to back up completely after the two cars as we get into the final lap for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. For Zurich, it's not going to be looking good as a defending World CEO champion, but for Seirin, it's basically clockwork for her. It's basically the bread that reminds everyone about Mondays, where Kanye can just chill around and do her stuff while everyone else has to work. But then again, today is Saturday, so none of the jokes are going to land. But for Seirin, she will now be able to help Otonase Kanade cement her position as the greatest, at least for this race here in Fuji Speedway. It's going to be Seirin Otonase Kanade as the greatest here in Fuji. They have won the Split D race of the Riding on Dreams Grand 600 at Fuji Speedway. Take a bow to them.
Masaraido. Massive, huge triumph from Seirin. leading all the way with a huge gap. So it's nice. It's nice to see a first win for the big loss category in this series.
Oh, and we get to see a side-by-side action, a photo finish. Tyler Williams almost gets to beat Johnny Pranata right at the line. Daniel Barger finishes over 5th, De Oliveira 4th, and again, Rig lost podium sweep. Great stuff from them. Tayo 8th, Sims 9th, Shadow Reza 10th, and he's going to try to defend his marks against Joey, but I think he should be able to have him covered. The Masha will be set to finish at 11. There's Gibbons, Richie, and Azurid, and that should be the result here in Fuji Speedway. Great result there from the Regloss camp as Seirin, Masaraido, and Shango make it a team effort to put their cars into all three of the podium positions there. Seirin for Kanade takes the checker flag as the greatest. Masaraido for Todoroki Hajime in second to give him his first podium in Holo Proto. Same goes for Shango as well. For Rafael de Oliveira, it's a decent effort from the Orcas, but it's still gonna be left. It's gonna leave them a begging as they will now have to prepare for the next part of the season. Daniel Barger brings home a very solid 5th place for Hoshimachi Suisei, given that he started down in 8th place for Hoshimachi Suisei. And looking into the rest of the field, Johnny Pranata in 6th place. Tyler Williams 7th, gaining 2 positions at the start. Hiyoshi Tayo loses a few positions. Same goes for Angela Sims. And Mama Reza, who started in 10th, stays there in 10th. Joey in 11th, who started in 13th, has gained 2 positions for Jufute Radin, the only odd one out of the Regloss camp. And then we got Vlasa Dumasha, who gained 2 positions from the start, and Cal Gibbons, who's gained 2 positions as well. Lorenzo Ricci started at the back, has done very well to stay in 14th place. And then we got Joshua Zurit 15th for Mori Calliope. He's got lots of work to do if he is to get back into CEO contention. And Jake Martinez, unfortunately for him, had an engine failure that puts him out of the race. So, Maf, as we're about to conclude today's stream, can I have your opinion of the race so far?
It was really fun. I like the constant pushing from the Eureka's to the end to try and beat the leaders or even themselves. It was a very packed field, lots of trains, overtakes near the end, so it was really fun.
Yeah, very much have to agree with your sentiment, as we are now going to showcase to you the final standings here to share with you, and obviously we are just going to share with you all the final standings here in Fuji Speedway, as we're about to wrap up the final races, our final race of the weekend. So we are gonna take a look into the final races of, well, we're gonna take a look into the final standings here to share with you. The split D standings are as follows. Seirin now takes the championship lead over Masaraido and Shango. Again, it's going to be a Regloss podium sweep. Very much the first time we've seen this in Holo Proto. Also first podiums for Masaraido and Shango as well. But then again, we still have other things to note about, because if you actually look into the results here, just gonna double check the results here. So yeah, so it's actually your Rafael de Oliveira who beats Daniel Barger. Let me just double check the standings here. Let me just do this. All right. Let me just right. So it will be your Rafael de Oliveira, I believe. Who? Wait, what was that? The other way around. Give me a second. I'm just gonna double check the standings. Oh yeah, it's your Rafael de Oliveira. All right. So back into the standings here. Yep, we have confirmed to you that your Rafael de Oliveira does currently occupy the 4th place spot. So he is doing pretty much a good job there for the EN class. Daniel Barger is the highest JP class driver in 5th place. with Johnny Panata 6th, Williams 7th, Hinochi Taiyo 8th, Angela Sims 9th, and Mohamed Shahriza inside the top 10. And then we got Vlasa Demashnev 11th, Joey 12th, Callan Gibbons 13th, Lorenzo Ricci 14th, Joshua Zuri 15th, and of course with the engine failure, Jake Martinez has to bring home with 0 points to his name. So with that out of the way, we are just gonna double check everything, and actually there is a bit of a slight modification here because Joey actually finished in 11th. There has been some late race changes at the front, so we are just gonna also make some slight changes here to the 11th to 16th thing. So it will be hang on, just gonna double check here. So it's actually Joey in 11th, Vlasa Demashnev in 12th, Gibbons in 13th, Lorenzo Ricci 14th, Joshua Zurich 15th as the defending World Series champion, and Jake Martinez 16th, that is. So with that out of the way, that is our actual final standings for at least coming into the end of this weekend. So we are just going to share with you all the standings, or rather one last hype plug-in before we properly end the stream. There's still one more concert after stage 3. One more concert tomorrow afternoon, which will be stage 4 of the Riding on Dreams 7 Fest concert. And if you do want to know more information about the 7 Fest in regards to the streaming ticket and basically general information, there's the QR code on the top right of your screen for you to scan. But if you're a VOD gang like me and you're basically, well, you can still buy the streaming ticket. But if you're broke like me as well, you can just watch the preview part on YouTube, which is available for free in terms of viewing. But yeah, that should be all for today. Thank you for tuning in for the ARO's Fest races. I'd like to thank everyone that basically gave us a lot of support. Thanks to all the commentators who would like to come in, who basically came in to support us all the way. We'll see you next time in ARO competitions, as our next races are going to be scheduled for, well, just wanted to double check on the schedule. Our next races will actually be in April in 11th, where we basically, or rather in March 28th, where we resume the Formula Hololive International season in Taiwan provisionally. We'll still give you updates on how it will go. But then again, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Mohamed Shahriza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is Matthias Zacharias in the booth. Thank you for coming in for the stream. For the viewers and the commentators, we'll see you again at the end of March. Take care, everyone, and we'll probably see you in the Fest concerts, or we'll probably see you in the next race. Whatever, we'll see you next time.